I'm gonna take y'all with me today. We're gonna go to the Botanica because it's Saturday. It's sábado. It's samedi. So we're gonna go to the Botanica. I'm just gonna do a little haul and show you what I got and the purpose and I guess the reason as to why I buy it. Because I get questions a lot as to like spiritual hygiene. People ask like, well, what can I do for spiritual hygiene? What can I do for this, da da da. So I'm gonna go. I have to do just it's a small haul today, so a small shopping haul, and I will just let you know what I'm gonna use it for, what I got. Yeah, so take a ride with me. Okay, so I apologize because I didn't get to bring y'all inside. One, because I was parked illegally, and the tri-state area, they will ticket you for any fucking thing. Like, so I had to run in and out. Second, the Botanica that I go to, they had like active trabajo going, so like active work and altars running. And I'm very much a stickler when it comes to that. Even when I go to voodoo parties, when there's like rituals and stuff going on, I don't record, and it's because I like to protect the privacy of the ritual, of the people who are doing the ritual and the magic. So I just do it just for respect, and I do it because the magic doesn't work as much, or doesn't work that well if you have a lot of people like sending evil eye or trying to stop the magic that's going on. So that's the reason why I didn't bring y'all in, and also because I didn't want to get a ticket, so I kind of ran in and out. So I'm just going to show y'all what I got, because these are pretty much like my favorite items to get while I'm at the Botanica. They're like staples, I will say. Now, I just made Florida water, but my Florida water, I like to have it sit for a week, and I sit it in a dark spot. I have been unable to, I'm not going to be able to use it obviously when I take a bath, but I just went and got Florida water because it's a staple, right? And mine's is sitting right now. It's going to be sitting for about the next, what's today? Saturday. I started Friday. It's going to be sitting for the next like 5-6 days, so I can't use it right now. So I just use this in the meantime because I'm going to take a bath. Also, I'm going to be doing cemetery work, cemetery magic, and I really love the Botanica that I go to, which is, I love living in the tri-state area. Because when I lived in South Florida, you have Botanicas, you have stores that's dedicated to, basically a lot of people practice Santeria down there, a lot of people practice voodoo in Miami, so it's very easy. Like, I literally used to go on my lunch break, I would drive to like a corner store and I would be able to buy all the stuff that I needed to do my work, right? But when I moved up north, I moved to like the middle of nowhere. I moved from there, but the place I lived at previously, I used to have to drive like 45 minutes out, or I would have to hit New York, or I would have to hit like Philly, or I would have to hit somewhere in New Jersey in order for me to be able to get this stuff. So I end up moving, and now I found a place, or whatever the case is, and they have like all the stuff that I need. Especially, it's nice to see stuff for like Sanse, which is Puerto Rican voodoo, and then like 21 Divisions, which is more like Dominican voodoo or magic. Or they even have some like Haitian voodoo stuff in there. I see a lot of things for like Ezili Danto, Ezili Freda. But this one is Vaughn de Cemetario, or this is Baron de Cimetière, which is the Baron of the Cemetery for English translation, which means the head spirit that works in a cemetery. I normally do this kind of work, or this magic. I've been doing necromancy for quite some time now. I do this for protection. So I have already activated, I have a ward. I'll just put it that way. I have a ward already. I have a working cemetery, and I have activated a ward there, so that whenever I go to do protection, removal, like cleansing, banishing work, anything like that, I'm just reactivating what it is, the work that I have that's going on there, or that I have left there, or whatever the case is. I already have kind of like a pact with the Baron over at the cemetery that I go to. It's very important when you do cemetery work that you are building a relationship with these spirits, and I say that all the time, even with the Loa. You don't just go into somebody's house and ask for something and then only come back when you're asking for something. It's just, to me, it's just a sign of disrespect, right? These spirits are very intelligent, they're very smart, they have their own personalities. I don't care who says what. I'm going off of my experience. From my experience, you have to build a relationship with these spirits, okay? These spirits are not just going to give you stuff and start granting you stuff and doing stuff for you if only you come around when you need something. I mean, obviously somebody's going to learn their lesson, but there's a safe way to practice this kind of stuff. There's a respectful way to approach and practice this kind of stuff. But me, I don't do baneful magic. I'm more so someone who loves to remove baneful magic from people. I love doing cleansings. I love learning new techniques and learning different kind of herbs and practices in order for me to be able to do that. So that's more so what I focus on. I love building wards and I love doing protection. And that's typically when people come to me for mentorship, that's what they are coming to me for, is to learn how to do that stuff. I don't practice baneful magic just because I have a lot of spiritual trauma when it comes to that. I have a lot of clients who have a lot of spiritual trauma when it comes to that. So I just want to do my best to help people learn how to clean themselves and how to protect themselves. That's very important to me. But this I'm going to basically be using for a ritual with this Baron. And the best part is with these pull-out candles, right? When you have a reversible candle or you're doing a reversible spell, you're just turning it over and you're using this end, okay? So it's important also to dress your candle. It's important to bless your candle, have some kind of prayer, or have some intention when you're doing this kind of work, because this stuff is expensive, right? You don't want to just get the candle and light it and you have no idea what you're doing with it. Just make sure that you are doing the extra steps or whatever it is, and you're setting an intention whenever you're doing this. But this is for me to work with the Baron, work with the head of the cemetery, for whatever ritual I'm going to do. Especially if you do a lot of intranquil magic, you want to keep yourself clean. Intranquils are spirits of the dead. Those are work for higher spirits, whether you do kindoki or you know, you're just somebody who likes working with the dead. There's plenty of things you could do with the dead. A lot of people don't understand that kind of magic. They think it's only just negative things, but you can do a lot of positive things with graveyard magic and working with spirits of the dead. Now, because I'm going to be working with spirits of the dead, or because I love taking trips to the cemetery to do some kind of cleansing or some kind of work, I always get Espanta Muerto. I learned about this before on my YouTube channel. I do have like a whole video explaining what it is and what it's good for and the purposes or whatever the case is. But long story short, it's just spirit. It just translates to spirit remover. So spirit of the dead. If you were unable to sleep, if you're dreaming about the dead, or if they're trying to get you, sleep disturbances at night, if you feel like somebody's placed some kind of like spirit on you, jab, jinn, any kind of spirit, if you're going to the graveyard, you did work and you feel like something mounted you while you were there, this is just always good to have inside of your cabinet. And I just make a bath with this, and I put a couple other ingredients in it, but that's typically what I use after I do my graveyard work, or anytime I'm not able to sleep, I'm having like, you know, sleep paralysis or disturbances or whatever the case is. I'll just do like a bath and do a little cleanse in the house or whatever. And then of course, taper candles. Taper candles are like my favorite item to use for work, because this is fast, quick work, okay? So the only thing is with the velas is that or with the candles is that this work takes a lot longer for things to transpire. You pretty much got to wait until it burns out, and then when it burns out, you'll have rings, or you'll be able to get a clear reading, right? Because if the candle explodes, if the wick melts inside of the candle, then that's letting you know that the work was not successful. If this is all black, I'm talking about, and I've had stuff like that before where it was tar black all the way down, that's letting you know it did not work. If the candle explodes and then melts in the middle, it does not work. There's times where it might explode at the top, that's letting you know, oh yeah, if you had a curse on you and it bust open, that bitch broke through, right? The spirits were working hard when they did that. But if you have it where it comes like to the middle and it explodes and it stops, your work is not successful. You're probably gonna have to do like a chicken. You're gonna have to do animal sacrifice. You're gonna have to do something stronger, like, or an offering or whatever the case. You're gonna have to do something very strong, because that is not enough. But this is fast working. Okay, this takes a little bit of time, remember, because you have to read it. You have to see exactly how it looks, what the outcome is going to be when the candle is done burning. You might start seeing a little bit of things while the candle is working, but you're not going to see the full effects until it finished burning, so you can get that actual precise reading. Or if you're doing it for a client, you know, you want to make sure the candle burns out so you can get them a precise reading. I tell people when I do my work for them, I always tell them like, hey, I'm not going to contact you for the next week after I get my payment. I do all the working and then I send them a report after. That's because if there's some kind of interference, if I'm letting them know what's going on in the spirit realm, spirits can pick up on that. So I do not say anything. So you got to wait until you're done. That's just me though. Other people might do their work other ways. I'm just going off of what I do. These are fast working. So whenever I'm having sleep disturbances, I can't sleep well, I feel like my head needs to be a little bit more clear, I can't remember my dreams, I feel like I need to do a head cleanse, I work with my loa and I will do cleansing with these. If I need money, if I need something quick, just any kind of quick, like I need something to go through, I need something to work, something, you know, I feel like I have something on me, I just, you know, I need to get it off. I won't say like heavier things like spirits, you do need to do a bath if you're doing that, like get your head wet and everything in your bath. But this is more for like, you know, quick cleansings, quick work. Sometimes I'll do remote cleansings for clients if they need it. You know, this is kind of what I pretty much use whenever I'm doing it, and it all does correspond on the kind of magic you're doing, the kind of work that you're doing. I love black candles. People have this, you know, thing about black candles. If you don't know how to use it right, then fine, but if you know what you're doing, then you can use black candles. Don't let people make you stray away from practice, but also just be very respectful. And then last, this is my favorite candle, 33 Essence, and I've talked about this before on my channel. On my YouTube I have like a whole candle reading class that I have put up, but basically 33 Essence, you can do anything with this candle. It is like an incense candle, and you can use it for, when I say anything like road opening, luck, money, lottery, love, attraction, success, anything. Like you can use it for whatever you want. That's why I love this candle, because I always just put it in my little, you know, I put it in my little cabinet, whatever the case is, and whenever I feel like I need to use it, like, then I just bust it out. Like, oh, I remember I had that 33 Essence that's sitting in there and I needed it. So this is like the perfect candle just to have when you need something just to have, you know. But that's all I bought today. It was a small haul, like I mentioned, and that's pretty much what I use my stuff for. I always say be very safe when you're practicing any kind of witchcraft. I hate how it has come to where people are just loosely doing whatever they want, because a lot of people don't understand there's like consequences that come with doing whatever you think, you know, you want to do, or whatever the case is. Take your time, be responsible. Don't do something, you know, that you don't feel comfortable with doing. Don't jump into something, baby steps. Also, I'm gonna recommend some books that you guys can read if you want to start getting more into practice, especially with necromancy. There are like people out there who exist who have wrote books on these kind of things, so it's always good to educate yourself before you jump into this kind of practice. But if you have any other questions, you can always just leave a comment, leave a like. Thank you for viewing, and I hope you have a great day. Happy Saturday.